Spring break lacrosse on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. We've got a first-time matchup between two very prominent D3 programs, an exciting one here on Schellenberger Field as the Messiah Falcons waltz into town. A two-game trip down in Virginia on the spring break, taking on the hometown Lynchburg Hornets, looking to pick up win number 3 on the home turf. It's going to be a big toss-up, lots of fun. It's been a while since we've seen this Lynchburg women's team here on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. So we're so glad you're joining us. Evan Gates going to ride solo and take you through this one. A lot of stats to get through, lots of stories to unfold. We have had a busy week of Lynchburg sports. There are 9 consecutive days with a Hornets team in action, and we know today is another one where we see a team looking to pick up win number 4 in the McKenzie Rafferty era. As we take a look at the pregame stats, and Messiah 0-6 on the season. That's very misleading because this is a squad that can make a difference. They can score goals. They just haven't had it on the sheet yet, as you see in the numbers. And really in every statistical category, Lynchburg has dominated, especially some of those hustle stats. You look at ground balls getting over 7 more a game, and so that's going to be crucial down the stretch. We know these two teams are confident in what they bring to the table. Messiah in really a rebuilding season, lots of freshmen down the roster. Lynchburg looking to get back to that success in the postseason. They got a long ways to do it as they've had a very good start, but we do know that ODAC competition is going to start to heat up. So let's go ahead and take a look at the keys to the game, Evan's gateway to success. And for Messiah, really just starts with controlling the first quarter. They trailed 8-1 after the opening 15 minutes versus Roanoke. That was the other game of this Virginia trip, and really a tough job when you have that lead really evaporate from the opening minutes of the contest when you don't lead. And we know Roanoke, a squad that is formidable in the ODAC, and so just a bit problematic for Messiah. They have to get Lynchburg sweating early and make sure that they can stay in this game, as well as pouncing on the passing lanes. Lynchburg tallied just 1 assist in either loss to begin the season. Those 2 losses have really been different stories. Lynchburg lost to Mary Washington by a pretty big margin. Then against Meredith, a game they really felt they should have won, should have been in, just couldn't get the job done in that road matchup. So a very interesting tail of the tape for Messiah. For Lynchburg, it's about winning the hustle stats. They're averaging almost 19 ground balls per game, as you saw to Messiah's 12, causing 12 turnovers. So that's another stat to keep your eye on, as well as sitting and kicking. 87% clear percentage last season. You eliminate threats early and dominate possession just by finding those transition opportunities and then sitting on offense, trusting your passing, knowing you're going to get something done. We saw that against Southern Virginia. The blueprint was very evident. They would get the ball. They would really calm down, let the offense operate, and go out and score goals. They hope to do it today. Can Lynchburg put another 10-plus victory on the scoreboard? They've done it twice here at Schellenberger Field, but it's going to be a big test against Messiah today as we move through spring break here in the middle of March. So glad you're joining us on LHSN. On the other side, we've got the opening minutes here on Schellenberger Field.
Field turf was built on innovation, dating back to our invention of long-piled infield turf, which revolutionized the industry. Today, we offer a series of game-changing fibers, high-performance infills, sport-specific applications, and smart field technology. Field turf. Let's change the game together.
I learned a lot of valuable lessons playing college football. I never thought about the health benefits of exercise until I actually started to talk to coaches in college. It's not only just for performance, it's for life. My coaches instilled the importance of well-being, not only building up strength, mental health, getting enough sleep, eating properly is all what it is to be healthy. I decided that I want to go in a personal trainer and share my knowledge that I obtained in college about physical and mental well-being.
This is the dough. It's wicked cute. It's always so pretty.
Dabbing in college taught me to strive and be the best athlete I can be, but also the best student I can be. My coaches always made sure that the student comes first, because not everyone's going to become a professional athlete. So they make sure that we will do great in academics. I knew that would only open the door to my future, and I'm really excited to start my dream program for physical therapy.
If you want to know your customers, shop where they shop. Live where they live. And spend time with them as neighbors. With over 100 local offices, Virginia Farm Bureau agents are part of your community. If you want insurance from a company that knows you, get to know us.
Welcome to the Campus Recreational Department at the University of Lynchburg. We believe in a student-centered approach to recreation, making sure that all students have fun and engaging activities that promotes wellness, personal growth, and community building.
Our team works to provide a variety of recreation opportunities for all our undergrad and graduate students.
Let's take a look at the different areas of Campus Rec.
Campus Recreation covers all outdoor recreation. Our team offers dozens of trips per semester, maintains recreation facilities on campus, and offers outdoor certificates and leadership training.
Intramurals is open to all students who wants to play on a team. We have men's, women's, and co-ed leagues for each sport we offer.
Those looking for next level competition can join club sports. These are student-led organizations with the support of Campus Recreation. You can join one of our established club sports, or you can start your own with our support.
Campus Recreation offers an excellent amount of opportunities to stay active, make new friends, and develop new skills. We hope to see you soon.
We've got a beautiful Thursday afternoon here in Lynchburg, a noon start time in the middle of the week. You don't see that many times, but spring break festivities, they're in full swing, and it's just a great day here in the Hill City. Let's go ahead and start looking at the starters for today's contest. As we said, two squads, somewhat different places, but they have both had success in the past, both looking to really replicate that now. And as we said, don't look at Messiah's 0-6 and think they're going to go down easy in this one. For Messiah, if you look at their attack, it's Letzinga, Bukowitz, Bernal, Clark, Macri, Pettit, and Keidel. Gillisy, Haig, Gaughan, Wagman, and Lewicki are in the back, and then O'Haver in goal. For Lynchburg, very familiar faces. We do have one new one, Peyton Seville. She has played in 3 games this season, but we haven't really seen her a lot here in Lynchburg, so great to see her out there. It'll also be Sydney Dumas, Maya Hauser, King, Morris, and Steinow. Doherty, Mayer, Bornholt, Wheeler, and Satterfield in the defense, and Carson Quigley in goal. We've seen 2 appearances in goal for Carson Quigley this season, and this will be number 3, the 5'7" junior from Fairfax Station. Lynchburg going to be in the home whites, Messiah in navy. As we move to the draw circle, so much action to unpack throughout this contest, and we're super excited to do so. Games like this in the non-conference slate can be so crucial, just trying to build momentum down the rest of this March campaign as King and Bukowitz are in the draw circle, ready to get this thing underway. 70-plus temperature today, and has just been a picture-perfect setting as we get things underway. Messiah moving right to left. Talked about trying to control that first quarter. It is going to be so crucial for a squad that has struggled to do so in some games this season. This is the 17th season for head coach Heather Greer-McKay, and she is no stranger to getting victories. 200-plus wins, 10 NCAA appearances, the regional final in 2021. So they have been there very recently, but some new faces this year as the Falcons work it around, trying to stay patient. Lynchburg will pack this defense. Threats for Messiah. We talked about some of that even spreading scoring. Think about this, too. This is early in the season, so those stats won't tell you the full picture, but we do know Haley Latinga last year, 36 points in her freshman season. She has been one of the highlights in the early going as Messiah shot off the mark. Corral still 55 on the shot clock. Passing rotation open, and there is the opening goal. And so it did not take long for the Falcons, and number 21, Grace Pettit, slots it through. Goal number 6 on the season. She had a hat trick in her first collegiate game versus Scranton. We talked about the freshmen up and down this lineup, 4 of them in the starting lineup for the Falcons today, and now Messiah is up 1-0. It's going to be a game that you just have to stay on the gas pedal early if you're Messiah. We saw what happened with Lynchburg in Southern Virginia. If you watch that game here on LHSN, it was not the start the Hornets anticipated. Down 4-1, timeout really to get the energy going a separate way, and then Lynchburg rattled off. It was 18 or 19 unanswered. And just a dominant finish on Schellenberger Field. But you don't want to get down. Don't put yourself in that position. Messiah certainly wants to try and keep that energy early as the draw gets past. Latinga had it. Now the other number 7, Sydney Dumas, will corral on the far side. Lynchburg will open ODAC action after this against Bridgewater on Thursday at 5:30. So a full week off. Spring break, as we said, isn't always catering to the spring athletes. A lot of people who have to wait to go home. The Hornets will get a few days with family after this one. Dumas waiting for the rotations. This is a Hornets offense, as we said, it can be patient. It's just about crisp passing, maintaining possession, and you think about some of the faces up front, somebody like Sydney Dumas, you then get those isolation opportunities. It's a pass from Steinow in and an easy finish from Tori King, and Lynchburg levels it. A great timed pass. You think about that. That was really just waiting and delivering at its finest. DoorDash to the net, and Tori King slots home the first one for the Hornets. That will actually be Maya Hauser that got the goal. So correction on that one. Another freshman who does very solid work at her craft. So we started with Petit on one end, and now Hauser on the other. The freshman sending us into a frenzy early, and back to the draw circle we go. 12:43 and the opening 15 minutes. Draw controls is a stat we will have to keep our eye on. Lynchburg, Neely Morris has been very solid in that position. She has it now. We'll just tail out, and Lynchburg can stay patient. Those hustle stats, ground balls, draw controls, some of the things that you can really control to set up the offense, they are going to be the ones that Lynchburg looks at throughout the season and has to keep that as a measuring stick. Here's Morris. Another pass inside. Lynchburg has liked that look. This one's just going to be corralled by O'Haver in goal. 5'9" senior from Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. You look at the schedule, Messiah has certainly given up a lot of goals, but I think it's not O'Haver's fault. It's more of a by-committee thing, as this is an unforced error that's going to send it all the way back. So the Falcons want a few ticks off the shot clock. Recalibrate. We talked about some of the history for Coach McKay. I mean, you think about Messiah as a squad that has just been in this position before in the MAC Commonwealth. Coach is a 7-time Conference Coach of the Year. Conference champions from 2015 to 2018. Falcons just trying to get back, and they're another school. Similar to Lynchburg, they found success all throughout their athletic programs. Men's soccer squad was here in Lynchburg earlier this season for some postseason activities. Falcons moving nicely downhill to the goal. Haley Latinga, we talked about her earlier, started every game in her freshman campaign. There's goal number 14 of the season. The All-MAC Commonwealth honorable mention last season, and you can see why. In isolation, she is so crisp getting to the net, and sometimes it just takes that 1-2 step, a little bit of momentum getting downhill and sliding it past Quigley, And so now Lynchburg in a hole again. We're going to see a lot of back and forth. You would have to anticipate you want to have that run, especially if it's in the first half. But we know lacrosse. We know the way this sport is designed, and Lynchburg is really just about rolling with the punches. This is a squad that has a good mix of veterans and freshman presence. That's a question you have to answer throughout the season. Whistle on the draw. And Lynchburg will corral. They got the last one as well, so watch those add up. Hornets still surveying. Who wants it? Ball going everywhere. Finally collected. Satterfield Hornets will recalibrate. We've seen a lot of run and gun. Hard to really quantify things from a transition standpoint in lacrosse. There's so many different stats you can look at, but when you have seen this offense, it is all about getting to the spot first before you can start exploring your options, as Dumas now takes her time. Here's that isolation, moves it inside, pass sneaks away. Lynchburg in their last game, a 19-7 victory versus Piedmont. So this shot goes way over. Hornets will keep it as Steinow takes a few steps. All three wins for Lynchburg have been by 10+. Maybe something that you start thinking about if you're Coach Rafferty is how does your team start to come back in some of those closer contests? We do know that game versus Meredith, a 1-point affair, was something to keep our eye on, especially down the season. You know the ODAC has a few games that you have to expect will be close. Messiah clears, and now working strongly. Mayer had a nice job defensively. We'll wait for the call. Looks like Messiah will keep it, and it's a green card on Jaden Mayer. So as we said, good effort, but it will send her to the box momentarily. So Messiah will have the player up opportunity. Mayer, a captain on this squad, so crucial. Some of those faces, the 5 seniors on this roster, especially during a coaching change, can just be the people in the locker room that you need to have around. Sense of familiarity. But we do know Coach Rafferty has really commanded the attention of these athletes. She has done such a good job early on, just not even from a statistical standpoint, but it just feels like this team is really bought in, looking to get a few wins down the stretch. Now would be a good time, but the Falcons have a problem with it as Latinga does it again. Goal number 2. And now Messiah trying to creep away in this first quarter. We talked about it in our keys to the game, something that the Falcons have had struggles with. You think about a lacrosse season, it's so long with spring sports, the way that you try to analyze, it doesn't always add up in the numbers, but one thing is for sure, and it is crucial to get off to a good start for confidence, for momentum. (3-1) Messiah, 8:28 to go in the opening quarter. Latinga does a little bit of everything. We've talked about the stats already from a goal-scoring perspective, but also an assist, 8 draw controls coming into this contest. Corrals this one. Messiah back in action. Falcons coming off of a 21-9 loss at Roanoke. Outscored 8-1 in that first quarter, as we talked about. Latinga did have 3 goals, but it just felt that the Maroons had an advantage in every category. 18-13 in draw controls and 16-11 on ground balls. So Messiah, a squad that just needs to control some of those other numbers, as Neely Morris, a little extra energy as Messiah will get set. Neely Morris was waiting for corroboration from the official, but either way, ball is loose. Lynchburg collecting underneath. So many sports going on at this time for Lynchburg. We talked about the schedule, and it's often tough just because you have all these sports terms. You're trying to figure out what sport is going on, and right now we know that with the lacrosse season, it just feels that you go through March and you're almost at the postseason. ODAC play hasn't even started yet, but we do know the slate is going to be full in the coming weeks. Students come back from spring break. It seems like everything is up and rolling. Baseball had a doubleheader against Bridgewater. That was their ODAC opener. Split those games, as this time it's going to be a yellow card on Gabrielle Strano. Will send her to the box, and so Lynchburg, trouble with penalties early on. We have yet to see a free position shot awarded. No saves in this contest. Messiah leading 3-1. 3 goals on 4 shots, and Messiah, a team that's shooting just over 33% on the season. That's a number that has to improve. You think about Lynchburg last season, that was a number they analyzed, and now at a cool 46%, they have been rolling. But some of those wins, as we've said, have been by large margins to where you're getting more shots, more opportunities are opening up. You have to wait to test. Messiah found the alley, rolled through, and now setting up the offense again, up 2. First matchup in the series history. 2 non-conference opponents that don't meet very frequently. As we said, though, programs that have experienced success. Pass was well-timed. Beautiful insert and play for number 13, Avery Ball, who finishes the 5'5" freshman. And now Messiah is rolling. Lynchburg finds themselves in the exact same spot they found themselves in against SVU. It's a 4-1 deficit. And right now, Lynchburg is just looking for that action. It has been so tough early because the energy has been all with the Falcons. And the longer you wait, these games can escape very quickly. That timing from the Falcons, especially behind the goal, looking for those passes inside, they have paid off, and now Lynchburg might change some things around. Falcons will get set. Tori King in the draw circle. And Annalise Keidel. Another name we haven't mentioned too much yet. 27 points in her freshman season for Keidel. This year, 6 goals, 2 assists, 13 draw controls, someone who is often on the stat sheet. Draws are so tough because there's so many facets to it. It's not just winning it, but the positioning, being in the right spot and anticipating. This one is going to be a battle on the far side. Messiah will corral. Emma Haig gets the ball rolling. Falcons again looking to strike. Sometimes if you're a coach and this is early in the season, you almost want to let it play out. Let your players experience some of this and prepare for what's to come. Because there are situations throughout the season where you don't have the luxury of a timeout or a reset. Carousel passing. Falcons still waiting. We talked about Latinga in the early going. Well, 6-foot presence. The tallest on the team can really add to the impact. She has it now, surveying out front. You don't always have the luxury of having an attacker who has that size, as it's so easy to get that reach. Shot was off the mark. Will roll out. Clock still rolling. 23 seconds on the shot clock. Now the Falcons have to start thinking about the next one. Latinga working one-on-one. Strong defense. She finds her way through. And another one finds the net. Looks like no call on the initial play. Wow, we talked about Latinga's size. Commanding presence. Sent Taylor Doherty to the ground. Doherty's 5'10" as well, so she is not small as a defender. That was just an awkward situation, the way that she landed. So we will take a quick injury timeout here on Schellenberger Field. Messiah having everything going their way in the early going. 4:42 to play. They're up 5-1.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Five to 1 injury timeout here on Schellenberger Field. It is a beautiful day for any sport you're playing, and we know a lot of them are going on for Lynchburg right now. We'd like to give a shout out some of those winter sports that finished up. Well, the men's DMR squad for the indoor track team, national champions now. We have said national champs quite a few times with Lynchburg's programs in the last couple of years. You don't have to go back far if you remember between equestrian and baseball last season. Two very successful campaigns, and it was a race in Virginia Beach that just felt like it was super poetic. The moment was right, and to have home cooking for the national championship was something special. So congratulations to the men's indoor track team, 7th in the nation from a team point standpoint. You also find some success in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. If you're a Messiah fan or just a neutral in this matchup, that is the conference for Lynchburg Athletics, and they have two teams represented in the men's basketball semifinals tonight. Guilford and Hampton-Sydney will meet in Fort Wayne, a 5:30 tip. Guilford won that first matchup 80-71 back in December. Two squads that found themselves ranked in the top 10 for a large portion of the season, and so they meet once again in the biggest matchup of them all, as the semifinal will send an ODAC team to the championship. But let's stay here on Schellenberger start that Lynchburg wanted. But you have time, and Messiah is a squad that has just been looking for the goal-scoring contributions, and that has been something that has been a question mark for the Falcons. They lost their top 3 goal scorers last year, 3 with 30-plus. But as we said, 0-6, it can be very misleading. You have seen the talent early, crisp passing, patient offense, doing the little things right, looking to keep it going. And 4:42 in this first quarter. Lynchburg obviously losing Taylor Doherty's status will be unknown for the rest of the contest, but you do get a moment to talk things over without using that timeout. And so we will see what Lynchburg does to come out with a little more pep in their step. But Messiah knocking on the door again. Time for the Falcons. This passing so common in lacrosse, and it's almost like who's going to cut in first. You just wait, and if you're Lynchburg, have to be ready to cut off those passing lanes. Great defense from Kerner. Now the Hornets keeping the door shut. 50 on the shot clock. This time, there's some isolation. There's another goal. Messiah has become well acquainted with their net. And number 17, Annalise Keidel, has done it again. Wow. The Falcons showing what they are all about. It was such a tough opener versus Roanoke. You come down for 2 games to Virginia. You're just trying to get confidence. A season where you have yet to find the win column. They look like a different team today. They are exploiting that Lynchburg defense. A lot of those one-on-one situations have gone the Falcons' way, and then even if you lose your person but still keep them away from the net, there's always that extra pass that can be so vital. And the Falcons keep the ball rolling. 6 goals now. Maybe looking to add on. They have put that Roanoke game on its head. Lynchburg can start now. Ball is all over the place. Referee will finally whistle, and Messiah will hold on. Bukowitz running into traffic. Lynchburg really wish that one would have been a no call. Time for Bukowitz. 3:39 on our clock as we get ready to reset. It was a card that sends Tori King to the box again. That looks like it's our 3rd of the contest for Lynchburg. You don't want to always say that it becomes a problem because you do want aggression. And those teams, I think, understand, especially on a coaching staff, you know your players are going to be going after it, trying to win those 50-50s. But they have been few and far between for Lynchburg in terms of having player-up situations. It always seems like the opposition has found those moments. The problem for those opponents has been that Lynchburg has had those big leads. Today they find themselves down early. Bukowitz somehow keeps this one. Pass had gone awry. Falcons inching closer. A whistle, it might have been a 3-second call. Free position shot will be on the way. One of the top hash marks is Bukowitz. It's really just her and Quigley. Opportunity shoots. Looks like it will rattle through. We had to wait. Delayed reaction. There's another one for the Falcons. They are all over this game. And now 7 goals in the first quarter. Wow. Energy has just been sucked out of this Lynchburg bench. That one, Bukowitz connects on the free position shot, our first of the game. And now on 9 shots, the Falcons have scored 7. Really no other way to write it. Messiah has just gotten the draw controls. They have had a large portion of the possession. There was a stretch where the Hornets had a few moments, but now their offense has been virtually non-existent. Now looking to get that move back. But I will tell you this is a long game. 60 minutes can really take a lot of twists and turns. You think about last year's ODAC tournament, and Lynchburg found themselves on the wrong end of one of those comebacks. Maybe they can connect the other way today, but Messiah is looking poised, more confident by the minute. Has been by committee as well. We mentioned Latinga earlier, but Buckowitz and Keidel adding to the tally. There's Buckowitz again. This shot falls through. Messiah maintains. There's that isolation. Lots of spinning, wheeling and dealing, trying to get to the net. Lacrosse, such a technical sport too, because you think about some of those clear path situations where defenses using so many different techniques. It goes back to practice, and these squads early in the season sometimes don't have their A-plus stuff. It's just about building throughout, trying to disrupt, and that is where the hustle and the energy part of the game becomes so crucial. Pass still falling through. Lynchburg has done a great job on this possession, keeping the passes out wide. 12 on the shot clock. Could it be another late score? Falcons trying to insert pass, disrupted. There's the stop the Hornets have been waiting for. Peyton Seville, game number 4 for this 2024 campaign, and dealing with some injuries. It is good to have her back. Here come the Hornets in transition shot. It was forced up from Reagan Bradley. That can be a problem sometimes. You wait so long, you just want to go and shoot and try to get the lead back. Takes time. Not saying it was a bad shot from Bradley. She certainly has the range. 6 goals this season. Start number 4 for the junior from Ocean Pines. We know Maryland is a very big spot for lacrosse. You go up north, you see more programs who are getting athletes who play it earlier. Latsinga at will misfires, and Falcons will retain. 42 on the shot clock, but 4 on the game clock. They've got to get a shot off, and this one will be snapped away from Quigley. And so lots of work to be done for the Hornets. They find themselves in the early hole, 7-1 Falcons. They are doing everything right now, but the great thing for Lynchburg is there are still 3 quarters to play here on Schellenberger Field. We'll be right back on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zipline and rope course. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
vibes are great in the Hill City. Lynchburg women's lacrosse team just has to find their way to get some of the energy going in the huddle. Now it is a reset, a great moment to go back to the draw circle, try to start from scratch. That's a great thing about lacrosse is you come out of the quarter, you can essentially dictate your destiny, and we know that the Hornets have done so in the past. Even switching sides of the field can just be a little bit of a mental reset. Crowd slowly forming on the other side. That track student section, it is going to have lots of action in these next few weeks. So many sporting contests going on here in Lynchburg. Baseball will be down at Fox Field, double dipping on Saturday. The next week, a busy one. Lacrosse, as well as the Jack Tom's Invitational track meet, 2 days on Friday and Saturday. Almost every sport has now had a home contest that will compete either on Schellenberger or Fox or Turner Gymnasium. Here's Messiah again. They are not wasting time. Trying to inject some energy into this attack again. They have been patient. They have cut at the right times. Avoiding penalties, there's really nothing that this Messiah squad has struggled with. The narrative is often written, though, to favor some of those winners, but when they keep scoring, it's hard not to. Latinga bounces it in. Goal number 8. Wow. 31 seconds later, Haley Latinga. Absolutely filthy in the start of this game. 2 game-winning goals last season. I mean, you think about the stats. Don't tell the entire story, but by having that possession, you limit some of those players on Lynchburg's side. We haven't really gotten to say Sydney Dumas's name yet. She's someone else, a contributor for the Hornets who has very similar stats, very similar qualities as an attacker, but it has been all Messiah. And Latinga makes it 8 for the Falcons. Back in the draw circle. Hornets really want this one, but it just sneaks through. You could kind of tell the initial pull just did not go the way they had hoped. Falcons again. As we said, Lynchburg will be playing Bridgewater on Thursday, and then after that, it's on the road at Randolph and back home versus EMU. Interesting stat. Lynchburg is a combined 30-0 versus the next 3 opponents. They have never lost one of those games, and granted, Lacrosse and the ODAC still somewhat new in terms of new programs getting on your schedule, but when you haven't lost, that at least builds a little bit of confidence, and it will be a great spot for Lynchburg to put up some wins early. They do have a winning record coming into this contest. Right now, looking like Messiah is going to put a dent in it as there is another shot slotted through. Buckowitz this time delivers goal number 9. Messiah is just absolutely rolling. Frustration from this Lynchburg defense. You see some hands up trying to figure things out. It's just like this attack has been absolutely unsolved. Credit to Messiah. They're earning a lot of these shots. They're getting them from range. We mentioned the passing early, but it just feels like everything that they're shooting is going in. Shooting 75%. That's just in the opening 16 and a half minutes. An 8-goal deficit. We'll see if Lynchburg can try and start biting back in. Lynchburg shooting 46% this season compared to a 39% mark in the 2023 campaign. But as we said, you have to find a way to get those shots. Long pass. You don't want to have an unforced error after that extended time away, but trying to get back in the zip code. Steinow collects. Now Dumas. There are those hesitation steps worked inside. No call. Dumas is down. And now the whistle will come. Dumas had some aggression going into the box, and it just felt like she was going to get there. Very similar to what happened, very similar spot to Taylor Doherty's, where you just don't know exactly where the contact was or where the injury happened. Sometimes a good thing with contact moves is that you know it's not something that would be too severe. If you think about those non-contact injuries, especially with ACLs, you get a really bad feeling with some of those off the ball. But Lynchburg right now finding themselves down 8. This is a Hornets squad that when you look at the roster, look at some of the stats, there's so much to unpack. They've scored 16 or more in their 3 wins this season. And so you can tell they have done it in dominant fashion. Now the question becomes some of those tighter games, how can you get every part of your game rolling at the same time? It's almost like putting a puzzle together. It's not just 1 or 2 parts. You have to do everything to make the picture very clear. And Lynchburg still looking to do that today. Dumas is up and walking off, so it looks like she will be okay, maybe a little rattled, as Lynchburg is down 8. So glad you're joining us on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. Spring break action here on the campus, the University of Lynchburg. Spring break in college is always interesting too, because it seems like no 2 schools have the same break, or at least it's just a handful at a time. Even in the Hill City, Randolph celebrated theirs last week or 2 weeks ago. Schedule's always unclear, but either way, it is spring. The trees here in Virginia slowly starting to get their blossoms back. It's a great feeling. When you look at the summer ahead, you know that it is going to only warm up from here, especially from those schools. Think about Pennsylvania schools. We've seen a few now visiting campus. Wittenberg from Ohio was here just a little while back for baseball. And so, yeah, the weather is very favorable down south here in March, but I guarantee you there will be a cold spell middle of April. Hornets turn it over again. Clear opportunity for Messiah, but the ball is loose. Far side of the field. Transition. Pass inserted into the middle. Lynchburg, an opportunity to take it away. The scramble continues. Kaylin Satterfield had a good opportunity, and finally the Hornets can go the other way. Long pass goes over. Just not corralled. As one you really feel like you let slip away. Strano had an opportunity. She is quick when she gets off to the races. Messiah now working near side of the field. Through the window, and they have an opportunity. Quigley was alone in goal. Now Messiah just will tail out and reset. Here's that slow offense. It is a slow burn when you're up 8. Can allow the clock to simmer down. Only the second quarter. Messiah, great defense from Kerner. Ball escapes. We've said that a few times today. So strong at just trying to push this offense out, especially on top. Lynchburg 1 goal on 2 shots. Messiah 9 on 12. Free position opportunity now for the Falcons. It'll be out front. Avery Ball is going to have a very favorable spot. Alone versus Quigley. Shot over the top. There you go. Up the ladder and sneaks through, and it's now a 10-piece in this opening half for Messiah. Second free position goal of the game. Really no other way to script it. Messiah is just taking advantage of these opportunities. Falcons went up 1-0. Lynchburg equalized, and since Messiah have rattled off 9. it has been by committee this season for the Hornets. You have some of those big performers, especially in the big moments. You think about Sydney Dumas. She has a chance to be a 60-goal scorer this season. It's always tough putting numbers and expectations on players. It is so early in the season. You don't know what the blueprint will look like. But for Sydney Dumas, she is 5 of 5 for hat tricks this season. Doesn't get much better than that. Wins and losses. You've gotten production from number 7. The question will be, when she gets back in, when this attack is a little rejuvenated, can she find the net a few times for the Hornets? You just want to have at least one goal and put it in front of another. Can't get the entire bunch back in a hurry. It takes some time. But you do have to slow the scoring, and the Falcons, no intentions of stopping. Only 4 players on this Messiah squad are upperclassmen, too. Little freshman injection. And just around this roster, that's what you want to have during a rebuild. You want upperclassmen, and they need to be prominent in the locker room. You got to have people who are going to be heard, but those freshmen and those sophomores, they can be so tactful. Falcons in a great spot. Not just in this game, but for the future. Latinga puts another one through. Now 11-1.
Messiah goal scored by number 6, Haley Lettinga.
We're just running out of options to describe the production. Messiah has had so many looks. Now 11 goals on 15 shots. Just running wild. Lynchburg will continue to try and find the key. Can they unlock something? You really want it to happen in this first half and not waiting too long. But the Hornets' attack has been silenced. Some injury struggles early in the season for Messiah. Wagman and Lowicki both missed a few games, but they have started bringing those people back. And you can tell in the production it just matches the blueprint, matches that attack-minded offense. 9 free position goals in the last 2 games as well, so it extends beyond just simple shoot and score. Taking advantage of those opportunities. Lynchburg looking to do the same. Seville surveys middle of the field. Misdirection. And just waited and lost the ball. Still free. Maybe one too many steps. Seville looks like she had a good point to shoot. Now Steinow. Waited. Here's a free position shot on the way. Lynchburg will get their first of the game. Opportunity now as the Hornets on the doorstep. Steinow bounces it, hit everything but in. Looks like it just scraped the pipe. It has been that type of afternoon for the Hornets, and Steinow has got to be confused after that one. That was about as good of a look as you're going to get. But sneaks up and out. Messiah trying to make that 2-point swing again. Falcons, an offense that has just been versatile. It hasn't gone through 1 or 2 avenues. Messiah passing, surveying, back out. Lynchburg last game, 9 assists. The season high versus Piedmont. That's a tough trip too. That Monday game, you come back from Georgia, try to get your wits about you, and then have another game Thursday. That is collegiate sports. Shot from Buckowitz. There you go. Wow, Falcons make it 12.
Messiah goal scored by number 7, Katie Buckowitz.
Opening minutes, they started spray painting the goal. Now it seems like there's a full few coats on the net. Messiah has just waxed all over, and now 12 goals. Just a situation where the Falcons, you're trying to find confidence coming into this game, trying to have something to be happy about. Well, you get it very quickly. Now up 11. Ten players for these Falcons have started 6 games, and it's often uncommon early in the year when you have so many new faces because you're just trying to figure out what pieces will fit, which ones are the right options to go with. But when you have that consistency, it will help later in the season when you're trying to rattle off some postseason wins. Mentioned that 0-6 coming into this game. Well, 2 of those losses versus top 10 squads in the nation, and 2 of them by 1 goal. Most squads in those 1-goal contests will get a few wins in their direction, and so later in the season, have to imagine the Falcons will be ready to go. Steinow, far side. Now Hauser will collect. Strano into the action, but they will wait. Offense has got to be artistic. There have to be a large number of options available. And you think about the Hornets, you get the scouting report, you're looking at Dumas and Steinow, 2 of the big goal scorers so far. That's where some of these role players can become very crucial. Extends beyond the numbers. Call near the goal. We'll wait to see if it is a card. Hornets are going to get a free position shot. Will be Strano, number 22. And the center. Hornets, crucial opportunity. Lofts it over and in. There you go. Finally ends the run. And Lynchburg looking to bite their way back. Gabrielle Strano slots it home. 5'1" freshman from Eatontown, New Jersey. A big second goal. You're just thinking about momentum at this point, and you can't look at the scoreline. It's sometimes tough in this spot because you understand on one side you do want to get back in this game. You've seen comebacks before, but it's a much bigger picture in the season, and you want to make sure that those looks are almost becoming as certain as they can get. Typically a free position shot, you get it in that spot. You want to make sure you send it home, and Strano gets goal number 2 for the Hornets. 12-2 lead for Messiah. There's Tori King. Can the Hornets start humming to end this first half? Running clock right now. And so if you want to start that comeback effort, though a very valiant journey will have to happen. It starts with keeping things close. If you stop the clock, it just from a momentum standpoint feels like you have a much better situation. Dumas was a nice move, just lost control. Middle extracurricular will keep the ball with Messiah. 2:10 to play in this opening half. Letting on the far side. Pass as the Hornets will pack the defense in again. You're looking at option A, option B. Waiting for those cuts. Referee saw something behind the play. Will be a green card on Neely Morris. Action will reset. 1:38 to go. Fresh shot clock. And the Falcons have a chance to start right near the goal. another discussion to be had. We've talked about some of those new faces. Well, early in the season, do you go with more set looks, or do you try to craft your offense around almost freestyling it, just reading and reacting? And it's a squad for Lynchburg that I think would say they want a few set looks, especially with a new coaching style. But Messiah, other than some of those cuts, has really just trusted their passing. They haven't hurt themselves very much in this early going. Good defense from the Hornets, except they very briefly lost Hannah Gone. Ball goes out. Messiah keeps it. Here's Bernal Clark. Shot clock and game clock essentially identical. Passing still on the doorstep. Falcons can take time now. Want to get your sticks up on defense. Take away every passing lane. Letting it was open. Second chance opportunity, no good. Files through. And here's the third one. Macri didn't miss that one. Natalie Macri, the 5'5 sophomore from Perry Hall, Maryland, makes it her 6th goal of the season. Messiah's 13th of the contest. And as the clock is going to wind down in the second quarter, that is a big punctuation on what has been an emphatic start for the Falcons. Now 13-2 as we go to the half, and it has been Messiah's game from the start. 0-6. We said it from the opening minute. Don't look at the record. It is going to be misleading. The numbers don't always tell the story, and the Falcons have done just about everything to keep the lead and keep the momentum on their side. And so now up 11, we will have some halftime stats and analysis on the other side right here on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network before we get set for the third quarter.
I wanted to be a physical therapist probably starting about halfway through college. I love the concept that exercise is medicine. You know, we're starting to discover that exercise really can remedy many of the things that we thought that only surgery or only drugs could remedy in the past. When the student comes here, it's because we believe in them, it's because we want them here, it's because we believe they'll be successful. The faculty here are devoted to their development, not only academically but also professionally. We're not so inundated with things that we don't have time to make students one of our highest priorities. We have your back. We're gonna help you through that. If you're willing to work, then we're willing to put the work into it and the effort to help you succeed.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
I was really attracted to Lynchburg primarily because my dad went here. He is an alum, so I kind of had that close tie of being interested in this school. And the school had what I wanted to study. I knew I wanted to help people in the area of health and wellness, so the health promotion program was definitely a program that drew me in, and from day one I've been in love with it, and I wouldn't have chosen any different. I have never had better professors or teachers in my life, and I think here at the University of Lynchburg, the professors definitely care about their students, especially in the health promotion department. These professors want you to be educated, want you to have the experience, and just want you to feel confident going into your career path following your collegiate education. You just feel like you're cared for here and that you matter, and that no matter what, at the end of the day, you're going to be successful, and the people here really want to be here, and everyone has a purpose, and it's just a great environment to be in.
Welcome back on Schellenberger Field. Got a few minutes until we get started with the third quarter, so let's go ahead and roll through some of the stats, and really the big ones in this 13-2 affair favoring Messiah. It's Lettinga and Buckowitz with 4 goals apiece, and that is just something that is hard to stop. It has been efficient offense from Messiah, 23 shots, 13 goals, 5 assists as well, and 3 of those goals coming with a player up. And so obviously Lynchburg's penalties have really hurt early on, but it's just been from the start. This has been a squad who has come out determined to get this victory, and Messiah looking like a very different team than many expected to come onto Schellenberger Field. Every category you look at, really just from a ground ball standpoint, fewer turnovers, it's favoring Messiah, but still lots of time. Lynchburg is still early in the season as well, and we know with a new coach it is always interesting maneuvering through some of these games where you just have to learn a little bit about yourself, and this is a big test for the Hornets, down big in this first half, but there are still 30 minutes to go. 11-point deficit. Can the Hornets do something special here on Schellenberger Field? We'll find out on the other side.
Be ready for anything, okay? Come on, let's go together! Together, let's go! Come on! Let's go, keep going! There is the death to it.
Straight? Straight up, yep. Yeah.
Cool. Come on, man. right, guys, you see the meat grinder down here? Stay in the boat. Let's go. Camera? Oh, what you think of that? Woo!
Well, we know we're calling a sports game, but today is also some other festivities. Pi Day, 314, middle of March. And so we got to give a big shout out to all the teachers, all the mathematicians around the world. I got to give a special shout out to one of my math teachers from back in middle school, Mrs. Heidi Most, somebody who was very influential on my educational career. If she is listening to this broadcast, super happy for all the teachers who might be listening. That is one of the toughest occupations out there. There's so many things that kids, especially we saw with the COVID pandemic there, certainly lessons we need to be taught, we being the youth and the new movement. So very grateful for everyone who continues to have an influence and listen. If you are an educator or a coach or just someone with that role, people will remember some of those lessons that you give, some of the special stories and memories that you create. And so don't think that your impact is limited, because there are so many people who are listening. Lynchburg trailing 13-2. Schellenberger Field. It is a bright and sunny Thursday afternoon. It has been all Falcons. There's not really another way to say it. We don't want to eliminate what they have done, because I certainly think that a lot of these goals they have scored have been earned and created from their sharp passing, their patience. But Lynchburg wants to limit that effect now. Can't really place blame on any one individual on Lynchburg's side. Carson Quigley in goal for her third start this season. Have to think it'll be a rotation for the Hornets, because Corinne West has also now started 3. Pass slotted inside. Bukowitz had it, dropped it. Now back out front, 50 on the shot clock. There's a scramble, everybody gathering around. Lacrosse is one of those sports, and it's just, you think about statting and pretty straightforward, who gets the ball, who doesn't on some of those ground balls, but there are plays that you never know which way they're going to fall. There's a shot. Wind up and fire. Bernal Clark will hit the net for the 14th time. Messiah has found the net, and it has just been a clinic at this point. Bernal Clark, her opening goal of the contest, the 5'3" freshman from Berlin, Maryland. Third goal of the season. If you watch Lynchburg baseball, Alina Bernal Clark went to the same high school as Logan Tapman, one of the pitchers on that Hornets squad who has had some formidable performances. The Hornets going to be back in action on Saturday. Collegiate sports all throughout the East Coast, that's something that's fun to examine. Lots of high schools, lots of localities that are very similar on different rosters, especially those that have stayed in the state of Virginia. Some local kids, also some who have traveled abroad. Back to the draw circle, and wow, had no doubt about that one. It's just like they are there in the perfect spots at the right times. Lynchburg has been pretty cut and dry from a statistical standpoint. Leading at the half this year, they're 3-0, and those games have not been close. When trailing at the half, they're 0-2. Right now, Messiah looks like they will keep that narrative alive. This is a Lynchburg squad, though I don't think you can look at this game, or at least what we have seen from it so far, and think that this is an exhibit A of what the rest of the season is going to be like. It has been a stretch for Lynchburg. I think some of their players will tell you, even with a few of the wins, it just feels like they've been missing something, and it's maybe some of that connectivity from offense to defense. You don't always know or how to diagnose some of those things, but it is early in the year. Coach Rafferty is going to have high expectations. Letting a pass to Buckowitz. There you go. That 6-7 connection. It has been very vibrant for the Falcons, and they are two contributors who this year are going to be relied on so heavily. Buckowitz just cool, calm, and collected on the finish, and that is timing that we've talked about for that pass to the middle. It looks so much easier from our vantage point than it is to execute. You know, you're trying to lead them, put that pass out in front, let them do the work. Also sometimes easy to lift it over their heads. But those passes have been on the mark. Lettinga led the team in goals coming into this game with 13. 31 shots, also the team lead. So we will do it all again in the draw circle. Who else? Buckowitz comes away with it. There's a nice swipe. Steinau got her stick on it. The ball ushers out. Escaped past the bench, and now Buckowitz and Messiah will retain. Shot clock now at 70 as the possession gets started. Far side, there's a nice swipe. Clean contact, no call. Steinau trying to get off to the races. Gets through the initial defense, and now the Hornets can settle. Really waves of it for Messiah. Their back few players haven't been tested very much today. A week until the next game as well. You want this Lynchburg offense to get some reps. That's why I think it's so crucial to just start now on these offensive possessions. This looks like one of those set looks. Dumas gets inside, misses. Pass goes through to Strano. Timberg, initially number 21, didn't really set a screen, but it just looked like she was trying to draw some of that defense away. Allow your attackers up front to work. Here it is from Tori King. It's just like a bee's nest. The defense has been swarming. Now the Hornets can reset. Steinau, what can she do? If you can get through those first 2 or 3 defenders, there's going to be an opening. The way the style has worked, but you can tell physicality has been on display all game long. Looks like a player's down. It's not the first time that we have seen that today. Can't tell who went down. Don't want to speculate. Physicality is something that you can only coach to a certain extent too, but you have to make sure that you have the right personnel to go out and get the job done. And it's not about playing dirty, not about going over the top, but you do want to make sure that your opponents know you are there, you are present. Good way to do it is putting 15 on the scoreboard. We've talked about Messiah's head coach, Heather Greer-McKay. Let's give a big shout out to Lynchburg's new head coach, Mackenzie Rafferty. Her first season, Chester Springs, Pennsylvania native, and now 3-2 at Lynchburg. Obviously, every game this season, it's pretty easy to keep her career record because it's going to match the season record. But hired in 2023, previous head coach at Florida Tech, and was very strong at the D2 level. Spent 32 weeks inside the top 25. Also, 4-year standout at Delaware. So she has had that lacrosse experience. A lot of coaches do in sports like this. You don't want to categorize lacrosse as being different than some of those other sports like basketball or football that are more mainstream, but you do see a lot of coaches who had that playing experience in the past. We talked about how up north and even in Maryland, there are a lot of schools that are really preaching it from an earlier age. Very clear that it has seemed to work. It's the athletic training staff still working. Looks like it will be number 20, Tori King, who was down on the play. She is up and limping off. When you're not mic'd up, it is maybe one of the hardest tasks to try and read injuries because there are just so many things that can happen, so many parts of the body. And Lynchburg has a great program in exercise physiology and all the scientific stuff that as broadcasters we try to avoid. We try to rely on other people to diagnose the medical side of things, but it does look like Tori King walking a little gingerly, but she is walking. That's a good sign. I've seen a few times today players go down. Sydney Dumas had some contact in the first half with Taylor Doherty as well. Surprisingly enough, Lynchburg has been the one rattling the penalty box, and Messiah has taken advantage. 3 of those goals coming in a player-up situation. Pass escapes. Hornets trying to escape out the back door, and now here's the opening. Neely Morris trying to get to her spot. She has space. Elects to just hold this one out, and maybe that's a situation where that's just showing that discipline from an offensive standpoint, trusting that in a spot like that, you just want to get your set looks. Anybody can fire on those transition opportunities, but the problem for the Hornets is that they haven't had a lot of those great looks. We saw Reagan Bradley has the ball now. She had one early in the game from far out. Now Steinow dodging traffic. Shot looks like it was saved. O'Haver got her stick on it, and now still escaping. Timberg gets hit before she can slot the shot through the net. See if it's a card. Timberg goes down now. There's that physicality. That was just a race to see what was going to happen first. Could she get the shot off? Emma Timberg, sophomore from Williamsburg, Virginia, took a hit going to the goal. So we'll see what the official ruling is. Obviously, Lynchburg's going to have a free position opportunity. Timberg has been in a spot where this season she can certainly make a better, bigger contribution. I hesitate to say better because Lynchburg last year had a pretty stacked attack. Libby Kennedy, Alla Daniels, 2 of those main contributors, and now Lynchburg's just trying to find those other options, much like Messiah, who lost a few of their attackers. But Timberg in a good spot. Started 3 games early in this season. 1 goal, 3 ground balls, and that will continue to climb. A lot of the sophomores in the squad. I think Sydney Dumas is obviously an asterisk because you understand she had some heightened impact last season, but a lot of them getting those roles now. Shot It's easy, and it falls through. There's goal number 3 for Lynchburg, and they will return to the scoreboard. Pre-position shots have been very kind to the Hornets, especially at home early this season. Just found a way to loft it through. Maya Hauser will put the goal through, and Hauser is another new contributor for Lynchburg. Haven't said her name very much today, but Lynchburg's attack, as we've said, has been a little limited. Let's talk about Maya Hauser, 5'7" freshman from Pinehurst, North Carolina. We've seen her stuff early in the year. That is goal number 7, already 3 assists and 7 draw controls. This is start number 5, and so this is just a spot where Hauser has proven very quickly, especially with that hot start, that she can be in that role. Believe, this is unofficial stats, but I think she had 4 goals and 4 assists in her first 2 games. So she was off and rolling. Those are the spots that you want to really focus on, because that is the future. And Coach Rafferty now in a spot where a lot of her recruiting is going to take place, so you're going to see a bigger handprint on this program. Lynchburg wanted to get that draw control, but the referee will send it the Falcons' way. Now they can reset their offense. But the amount of people who have been on and off from this bench today, you're just hoping you get out of this game healthy if you're Lynchburg. You don't want to put anything worse into the narrative than what has happened, what has transpired on the scoreboard. Still time. If you're Lynchburg, it's just about competing, about going out, staying true to your playing style. We've seen Messiah very emphatically get into that lead early. It didn't feel like it was a quiet movement. And I think about the Falcons, the one thing that they know is that this offense is ready to go. The engine is well fueled. Do you think about 0-6? That's something that certainly has to leave a bad taste in your mouth, but I don't think after this game that they are lacking any confidence. Free position shot, and will just be kept outside. So Quigley will have a few seconds to spare in goal. Here's that rotation again. Looking for the inside pass, now wrapping around. Grace Pettit will maneuver the pass other side. This is that defense you want from Lynchburg, just trying to keep the middle unavailable now. Chance to corral finally. Ground ball will be collected. Bornholt in the back has been so crucial. She has it now, just trying to escape. Get this clear opportunity off and running. Now Quigley in the back. Bornholt led the team last year with 53 ground balls and 26 caused turnovers. She's in a similar spot this year in that defense. Someone who's going to be relied upon. There's someone else who goes down. It feels like Lynchburg can't catch a break on that side. This time, Taylor Doherty down again. Trying to walk off the field. Looks like it'll take a heightened effort. Now they want to check things out. So we'll take a really quick break here on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. 3:41 to play in the third quarter. Messiah still leading big here on Schellenberger Field. Taylor Doherty walking off the field. Looked like it was just a quick medical timeout. She will step off. We'll see who the replacement will be. It looks like it's going to be number 2, Virginia Heffernan. 5'3" sophomore from Lutherville, Maryland. Started 1 to begin the season. Now the Hornets trying to get this offense rolling. It has been a question that we have waited to see an answer from, and we have seen a few bright spots. Talked about Maya Hauser getting one of those goals. Now up top, Sydney Dumas, the notable performer yet to find the goal column. Don't know how much it is related to the scouting report as it is the Messiah just plays defense well. They have shut down a lot of the roads home, and think about Lynchburg, it's been a lot of isolation where they thrive, as we saw that shot bounces up and over. Neely Morris had a good look at it. The style for the Hornets that just relies on a lot of those one-on-one situations. Messiah has been the one to get that done early, though. Morris talking to the referee. The athletic training staff has had a very busy day on Schellenberger Field. Getting their pay's worth. Dumas wraps around. There's a shot that falls off the mark. Dumas hit the turf. She's back up. Looks like the shot clock expired unless they add anything on. Or maybe there was a call. Yes, so Dumas will take a free position shot from the top. And now the referees want to talk things over, confirm the call. So with the stands, Dumas has her best opportunity of the day to get that opening goal. Messiah shooting at a very electric 75%, 15 of 20. It is a free position shot for number 7, Dumas. Leaning forward. She's taking it the entire way, glides it over. And there is a big one for number 7. Sydney Dumas will keep the goal-scoring streak alive. It's the 6th straight, and what she has hit the net. Sydney Dumas, there's so much you can talk about. We talked about the chance that she gets over 60 goals this season. Maybe that's a little tally that you can keep your eye on. Last season, you didn't really have somebody who was a candidate for that because it was so much by committee for this offense. They had a lot of different options who were getting 20 or 30 goals. Dumas did lead the team with 41. 80% shot on goal percentage. You know, percentages are always tough when you go into games because you just can't rely solely on the numbers. But for Dumas, she has shot 50% coming into this game. A mark she wants to keep. Hauser in the draw circle. And Annalise Keidel. Straight up in the air. Messiah looking to corral. Lettinga couldn't get it. And the race is off. Referee will motion. And it belongs to the Falcons. Pass really right into traffic. Falcons aren't avoiding it. They haven't avoided it at all today. This trip down to Virginia is likely going to end up being a split between Roanoke and Lynchburg. Messiah will have Mary Washington on Saturday the 23rd, and so an extended time off for the Falcons. That will be at 1 o'clock, the next contest. After that game, they finally return home on the 27th to take on Salisbury. That was a nice look inside. Just a bit of a disconnect. Very rare do you get those weeks off at a time. Both of these teams will have that happening now, and so it's just, can you capitalize on that break? It's a question we will have to figure out. 15 minutes to go here on Schellenberger Field. We've been having a lot of fun. It's a beautiful Thursday afternoon in the Hill City, and fourth quarter to go. Lynchburg trailing 15-4.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Cheer for the stumbles. That he should have had that. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
Get your career in the game by enrolling in the University of Lynchburg MBA program with an emphasis in sport management. This program opens the doors to new possibilities for a variety of careers, from being an athletic director or working in athletic administration to working for professional organizations, your favorite team, to running a local Parks and Rec department. And employers are increasingly requesting and preferring individuals who have postgraduate education, specifically looking for an MBA. And so the University of Lynchburg Sport Management concentration and the
15 minutes left in the Hill City spring break action. You're on a very warm Thursday afternoon. I heard unofficially from some of Lynchburg's players that this is the warmest contest they have played so far. And the reason we say unofficially is because that game down in Piedmont, Georgia, you know, it's always a little warm at this time of the year, but it's been a bright one, and it will not be the warmest of the season because guess what? April and May are quickly approaching. Always fun in the spring season because you start with snow over winter break during some of those practices, and you end with some 90s, 90 plus. You never know. Keeps things interesting throughout the entire season. Messiah now rolling around again. This fourth quarter is a new slate if you're Lynchburg. You just have to be in a spot where you want to look at it one play at a time. Falcons thought they had a look. Now they'll take their time, letting go back outside. You have to think that this offense is not exactly looking to be urgent. If you take a shot, you want it to be a good one. Two losses versus top 10 teams in the beginning of the season. How many times do you get 2 games versus top 10 teams? And I say that Lynchburg's baseball squad had 5 of 6 versus top 12 teams to start the year. So maybe it's not uncommon, but you're not guaranteed that high competition early on as Messiah makes it 16. Hannah Gaughan will pop the net, believe it is her first goal of the contest, and now Messiah sets at 16. Lynchburg, their highest scoring margin this season has been 20 versus SVU. Flirted with it in the Piedmont game, scoring 19. Hornets' schedule coming up, as we said, historically is favorable. They have not lost to any of the next 3 opponents, but we do know Messiah was 0-6. We do know that there are a lot of teams out in Division III who probably have records not matching their talent level, and so Lynchburg has to approach every game the same. Responsibility falls on Coach Rafferty just to have them ready. Again, I don't think you can categorize today's performance by any one or two things. It just seems like the entire house has started to fall down in that first quarter, and ever since, Lynchburg has struggled to find their footing. Credit to Messiah in that first quarter effort. The great teams don't even give you a chance to respond. They slam the door shut early. Messiah last year over 5 assists per game. That's a stat that you want to improve, or at least maintain this season. More assists, that obviously means that your offense is functioning as a unit. Shot bounces from Morris. She tries to get the second effort. O'Haver had some trouble. Neely Morris is so crafty. She's someone you love to have on your team because she is just a stat stuffer. That's going to be the role that she continues to employ. 11 goals, 1 assist, 21 draw controls, 11 ground balls. Those 11 goals are certainly going to be an improvement from last year because she had 13 by the end of the season in that 2023 campaign. It's hard to really say improvement with someone who you feel like you've gotten good production from. Morris out of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, another one of the sophomores. We talk about Messiah being in a rebuild. I don't really think that you can categorize that as a rebuild for Lynchburg because they have that veteran presence. They're competing in the ODAC, but they are set for the years to come. The supporting cast will be some of the questions. Carson Quigley, a junior this year. Corinne West, a grad student. And the goalkeeping abilities. This shot saved. Falcons will keep it. Just over 10 minutes to play. There's that size and reach. It looks so easy when number 6 gets in her spot. She fires it home. Goal number 17, and it has just been a day for Haley Ledinga. Good day to have a day. Another sophomore in this game who is a very big goal scorer. You think about Sydney Dumas for Lynchburg, one of those that you expect to have the high goal tally. Don't want to limit your attack or your scoring, though, to 1 or 2 assets because at this stage of the season, and we've seen it a few times, some bright performances, it's anybody's role. You learn something every single game as the story continues to be written. You like what you're getting out of players like McKenna Steinow, Sydney Dumas, some newcomers from the bench that have been in accelerated roles. 6 returning Hornets who did not start a game last season have found their spot in the starting lineup this year. That was a spot that you just trust your depth, trust your role players. This time Lynchburg looking to open the gates, pass to Dumas. Misdirection, that was beautiful, and puts the shot on the shelf. Make it go home, Sydney Dumas. There is the 5th for the Hornets. That was just poetry in motion. She made 1 defender, 2 defenders miss, and gets to the net. Sydney Dumas just makes some of those plays look like they're happening in slow motion because it's so easy when she can get those moves. She knows where she's going. I think confidence is one thing, but to have the IQ to know where you want to get your shot off, that's something that always helps. Those angles become important. There's the trigonometry behind lacrosse there for all the math fans on this Pi Day. As we return to the draw circle, clock still rolling down. Those backside cuts from Messiah are not anything new to this game. Lynchburg's offense resetting. Offensive styles vary team by team, but a lot of it is determined by the defense you're thrown. As Hauser, it's a pretty look, sails right down Main Street and gets this one home. There's goal number 6. So Lynchburg's offense finally starting to wake up. Good spot to be in, and right now you just want to capitalize, letting Bukowitz on the bench for Messiah. These reps are still crucial. Get your offense rolling now as opposed to waiting in a week's time when you're getting back into ODAC action, the opener versus Bridgewater. There is such a thing as waiting too long, and that's not just in the game, but you don't want to find yourself in a hole early in the season. The great thing about the ODAC is the fact that you go by conference standings when you determine that postseason picture, and so I don't think Lynchburg looks at being 500 through 6 games as a bad thing, but you do get another chance to really write the script. It's been a very interesting 6 games, to say the least. Lots of tales that have looked very different. That's every sport, that's every game, but even beyond the score lines, we have just seen some contributions left and right, everybody getting involved. Hauser sets it back out. There's the pass to Neely Morris. Stick on the ground. Lucky number 7 for the Hornets. That is the timing you want. I think the coaching staff will be talking about it as well. That is a beautifully executed play as Neely Morris just found her spot, stuck in that little pocket. It's a quick shot, quick hands for Neely Morris. Vibe's a little bit better now for Lynchburg's bench. Listen, I'll tell you this. It is a game of confidence, a game of swings, but the better that you can react, the more quicker that you can start changing how the picture looks. You're going to be better off in the long run, and Lynchburg just taking it one goal at a time. Yes, you're down 10. Yes, you feel like you haven't had what you needed early on today, but taking it little by little. A game where a lot of Hornets have hit the turf. Refs have let some plays play on. I think it's been pretty consistent. Officiating, one of the toughest jobs in sports, because every single person watching the game or involved in the game is going to be a critic in a different way. Never going to please everybody. I think officiating is one of those things where when it's good, you don't really notice it. Every sport a little bit different in how the officials get things rolling. I'll tell you one sport that does not require much officiating, as track and field. Talked about what happened in Virginia Beach, the national championships for the indoor track season. There's another goal for Hannah Gaughan. Bottom corner seals the deal. There's a nice looking run as well. She had a few steps before she had to really set and fire. That one you can just kind of see unfolding before your eyes. You know, if she gets a clean look at it, there's not much Quigley can do to really protect that angle. Messiah will have a nice trip home after this one. In a week's time, or excuse me, a little over a week's time, they will be back in action. As we said, both of these teams getting some well-deserved rest, and it seems like it's early in the season, but you look back to some of those training camps, and it has not exactly been a short amount of time that these teams have been competing. It goes all the way back to December. Some of those preseason activities, every school a little bit different in that category as well. But Lynchburg got things rolling on winter break. This is the Lynchburg squad returning Doherty, Bornholt, and Dumas as all ODAC second-team selections from last year. And as the goals just keep piling up for Messiah, it will usher in one very important question. What is this Hornets team about? This is the time of the year where they're going to have to figure it out. You take a look in the mirror, and you get a few days away from campus, going home to figure things out, but you come back, the gauntlet begins. The ODAC has arrived, and Lynchburg has to decide very quickly what they want this season to be about. Messiah has just brought the fight to the Hill City. They have been relentless from the start, and they are continuing to execute at a high level. Shooting almost 80% now. 19 goals on 25 shots. Lynchburg is still shooting 50%, 7 goals, 14 shots. Those are the stats that appear on the scoreboard, so yeah, they're important, but I think when they are as high as they've been today, it's a pretty good indicator that the offenses have not been the issue. I think Lynchburg obviously will look defensively, have some introspection to figure things out, but again, it has been just from the draw control, the Falcons' game to come in and win, and now in the final 60 seconds, there's not much else that will change the narrative. Lynchburg will fall to 3-3. Messiah picks up the first W of the season, 1-6. There's another shot, an extra one for good measure, and it looked like it was Natalie Macri who adds another one to the tally. So a 20-piece for Messiah, and that will basically wrap things up from Schellenberger Field. 4 non-conference matchups today in the ODAC. Virginia Wesleyan, EMU, and Shenandoah also in action. This is that stretch of 9 consecutive days with Lynchburg having a sports team rolling. We know the athletic department, the sports communication side of things, they have been busy. And another one here on Schellenberger that will keep the ball rolling, but unfortunately the Hornets will fall 20-7 to Messiah, and you don't really need to look much further to understand it was just not the Hornets' day. Messiah came out rolling, and they understood the assignment, and a game where they have very clearly come in wanting that first win. They needed a big one, and they got it in a big way, and so now it will be Lynchburg coming back at 500 on the record and a chance to go back to the winning side of things, but they're going to have a lot of work to be done in this week off. We'll be back here on Thursday next week as Lynchburg will take on Bridgewater, but for the time being, it has been so much fun. Spring break continues, so a few days without classes for all the students here in Lynchburg, and we are very fortunate. So for Laura Porto and Jonathan Fauster, 2 outstanding LHSN workers, I'm Evan Gates saying so long from the Hill City. Messiah takes it 20-7.